What's up guys, welcome to Aimless Moto. My name is Dan. Today what we're going to be doing today is kind of de-plasticking the inside of the motor, and we're going to kind of start doing some upgrades to it. I have a catch can that we have to install. We're going to put a K&N air filter in. We're going to get rid of this big bulky Challenger intake and put on a Charger intake, which was like 20 bucks on eBay. And we're going to get rid of this big engine cover and put on coil pack covers to kind of clean up the engine bay and make it look a little bit more performance oriented rather than convenience oriented. So here we have all the parts that we're going to be putting on the motor. These are the half covers. This is the Charger intake. As you can see, it's much simpler. Smooth bore on the inside. This is the catch can, the hoses that we're going to have to cut, high flow K&N air filter. The tools that you're going to need: flathead screwdriver, 17mm wrench, a pair of pliers just to deal with hose clamps. So I'm going to be doing things in order here. I'm going to start taking things apart, then start putting the new parts on. So the first things first, engine cover, fairly simple, lifts right off. Next, the air intake. The air intake is held on with two straps, the air intake temperature sensor, which you just unplug for now, and there's a 17mm bolt that holds a bracket on, so we can take that off after. But first things first, remove the hose clamps, like so. All you have to do is unscrew it, and it should pop right out. Just be careful not to damage the tip. The next thing we're going to do is take off the air box cover. There are 3 screws that hold it in. Simply take those screws out and remove the old air filter. Fantastic. The next thing we're going to do is install our catch can. In order to do this, you're going to have to take the catch can apart, ensure it's nice and clean, and ensure that your baffle, if equipped, is installed properly. The side with the mesh is going to be the side that comes from the PCV valve. There may be a lock nut on this stud that comes off the front of the water pump. You're going to have to take that one off, leave the one that's on the back. The first thing we have to do is put that nut on the stud. And the next thing we have to do is spin the top of the catch can onto the stud in place. I can't go too far because the catch can itself may hit the fan shroud. All right, just like that, we're good. We're away from the fan. I can still cock this out to put the hose on the bottom, which will probably be routed right down out of the hole out of the bottom of the cover that's on the bottom of the motor. Next, simply back off this nut so it pinches. Using your 17mm, snug it. That should be good to go. Just like that. We're going to remove this hose. Should just slide right off. Well, that slide out. Let's see if we can get this off. Ow. Okay, so we have to go from the PCV valve itself to this side of the catch can, and then we have to go from this side of the catch can into the intake. Now before we continue, I want to make sure I have enough room to fit the hoses in, so I'm going to install this half cover to see what we'll look like. All right, beautiful. So this one, it looks like I can come straight off the top, no problem. Maybe come under this crossover for the fuel line and then run it in flush. Maybe even come on under this side of the PCV valve and come here. The other one, I'm going to have to come out and maybe down this side, up and under into this side of the PCV valve, or into this side of the catch can.
A few moments later.
Just like that. Beautiful. And while we're at it, we can put the other side on. All right, for the next step, you're gonna have to take your Charger intake and find the hole where the temperature sensor goes. And then take your temperature sensor, and on the Charger intake, there was a like a clip that it went into. On this one, there's no clip, it just presses in. So just make sure the O-ring is still on the original plug, push it in, and just give it a couple spins. Just be careful not to shove it into the other side of the tube, and go all the way. And then just make sure that you can see the blue tip, because that's how it's gonna read the temperature. So before we install the snorkel, we're gonna install the new K&N air filter. This is all pre-oiled, so that can just drop in, and then we can put our cover on. Last but not least, simply slide your intake over your air box, and then slide the snorkel over your throttle body. Snug up your hose clamps, and then just plug in your temperature sensor, and you're done. So that was it, guys. As you can see, it's pouring out here. So all it took was 15, maybe 20 minutes. I'm super happy with how everything came out. It just looks like a performance motor now. It doesn't look like something that you'd find in a Chrysler 300 or a family car. It actually looks pretty ballsy. And the whole point in doing this intake was to get access to be able to mount this, because I couldn't mount that with that big wart that was on that other intake. There's no way that it would have fit. So you need to get a Challenger intake or a cold air intake, and you know, I didn't want to go with a cold air intake because, you know, watch Mighty Car Mods. They go through a whole test of why using your stock airbox is way more efficient. And if you saw down in there when I had this apart, there's a duct that goes right to the front down here in the grill, and that forces cold air right into that filter. So what that filter is going to do is allow this box to do its job better, and it's going to allow this motor to breathe a lot better. And I just love those half covers. That just makes everything look 100% better. Sure beats the hell out of all that stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. I know a lot of you guys have been subscribing lately. I've kind of jumped up like a couple hundred subs in the past few months. Thank you very much. More of this to come, more on the Challenger, more mods to come, and more vlogs and stuff. So please subscribe, please like, and please leave a comment if you have any questions. Thanks.